What's up, Warriors fans? It's your man Max here for Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like what you hear, as I do post new Warriors videos daily. Now, it's been an interesting day for Dub Nation as we got official word that the Warriors have no interest in trading Jonathan Kaminga anymore because they haven't gotten the offers they'd like to see. And I know I said it before, but this time it came from Shams. And anything that comes from Shams, we know is legit since Woj has retired. And just as a fan, it's frustrating to hear that because going into training camp, you don't want that kind of drama. You don't want that kind of, okay, we're coming into training camp with unresolved issues, and those aren't going to be resolved until at least January. And for me, you gotta hit the ground running if you're going to be a championship team. And for the Warriors, with this overarching issue just going into the season, you're not going to hit the ground running. And if you do, it's going to be a shock to everyone. Then again, when the Warriors initially got on their championship run in 2014-15, everybody was shocked. So it's not the first time, it wouldn't be the first time the Warriors have shocked the world. But I just don't like the fact that they're letting this draw out to get what they want. Now, I look at the offers they've been made. All right, it's Nick Richards. It is Royce O'Neal, those 3 second-round picks from the Suns. And I think about it, even though I like it, I can understand why the Dubs don't like it. Royce O'Neal, solid rotation player. Nick Richards, big man, who I like, I think can develop into something. But the Warriors are in championship mentality mode right now. But I still don't like that the Kings haven't upped their offer. And I do think this may be a bit of a strategic move to get the Kings to really remove those protections that they have for Jonathan Kaminga trade. Now, I think it's not only what the Kings are offering in terms of draft picks. I think it's also what the Kings are offering in terms of players in return. Now, Malik Monk is the main player that's being offered in return for Jonathan Kaminga, and I'm thinking about it. I say to myself, Malik Monk, he's a solid player. He was a finalist for Sixth Man of the Year. Okay, he's got a great three-point shot, but there's one major deal breaker for Malik Monk, and that is he's a small shooting guard. And with small shooting guards, it's something the Warriors don't need right now because they've already got a small shooting guard who is a three-point shooter, let's call him a three-point shooting sniper in Buddy Hield. And if you got Buddy Hield, why do you need Malik Monk? It's just a clog in the rotation in the backcourt. And I'm like, okay, that's not great. And on top of that, Malik Monk does have a significant amount of money left on his contract. So I understand why the Warriors are just sort of pushing things off. And I do believe it's a bit of a strategic move. But I also believe that this is, like I said, it's going to be an issue going into training camp, having this, not being able to really hit the ground running because of this drama that's happening going into the season. But I also think it's going to offer the opportunity for other teams to really present their offers. And hey, maybe they'll get a deal done with a team you don't expect. Let us not forget, last season, nobody saw the Karl Anthony Towns trade happening the day before training camp opened up. That was shocking. Even I didn't see that. I'm like, did that really just happen? So I can see the Warriors trading Kuminga closer to training camp and them resolving this before the October 1st deadline. But that remains to be seen. I do believe they need to up the offer to Kuminga. So instead of, let's say, 2 years, $45 million, it becomes 2 years, $50 million, just to, all right, calm Kaminga, say, hey, we're going to give you the money, but you're going to be allowed to re-enter unrestricted free agency in the summer of 2027, where, hey, there's going to be a lot of teams with cap space that can sign you outright. And you don't have to worry about restricted free agency at all moving forward. Now, even though we've been dealing with this Kuminga situation for the past, 6 weeks now, at least we got some good news as the Dubs now have a verbal agreement with Al Horford. And while I'm not the biggest Al Horford fan, I'm glad they at least got that verbal agreement because I thought he may retire. I wasn't entirely sure because, you know what? He's spending the offseason with his family. Maybe he wants to spend more time with his family. The only issue I have with it is that verbal agreement is for 2 years. Now, Horford's going to turn 40 this season, and he's going to turn 41 next season. You got a 41-year-old, he's not going to really do that much for you. He can't play the way you need him to play, the way he played, say, in his early years in Boston or during his time in Atlanta. He's just an old guy who could stretch the floor well, but he's still old. He's not going to be able to really be as physical with guys like Joker, with guys like Hartenstein, with guys like Gobert, Sengun, Adams. But what he's going to be able to do is draw them out to the perimeter and keep them out of the paint, allowing guys like Jimmy, allowing guys like Kaminga to attack the basket without having to worry about being blocked by, say, Gobert or Sengun or any of those big men. And we know that was a major issue during the playoffs. I mean, how many times was Jimmy and Kuminga's shot altered or blocked by the likes of Rudy Gobert during that second round series? I didn't have an official count, but it's definitely in the double digits, and it was just frustrating to see. So bringing him in is a good idea, but I do want to see the Warriors bring in a second big man because having only one 7-footer in Quentin Post isn't going to get the job done if the Warriors go to the finals. Now, Post, he's solid. He had a good rookie season, but he doesn't have that physicality to match up with those bigger centers in the league. And as much weight as he can put on, it's still not going to be enough going into this season. But I do want to see them get a guy like maybe, let's say, Vucevic, as I've talked a lot about. But the problem there is there's another rumor saying that the Warriors aren't interested in trading Buddy Hield or Moses Moody. And those are the two guys the Warriors would have to trade in order to bring in the likes of Vucevic. So I just don't understand their mindset or their thought process, but hopefully they come to their senses and make that Vucevic trade because both of their contracts, both Hield and Moody, are long-term contracts. And the Warriors, as I said, are aiming for the summer of 2027. The big three the Warriors have in Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph, their contracts expire in 2027. The offers that the Warriors have made for Jonathan Kaminga expire in 2027. So they're looking to cut bait on everybody by 2027. They want to completely reshape that roster. And having long-term contracts that go past 2027 aren't really a benefit. They're more of a detriment to the team. And if you bring in a guy like Vucevic, yeah, his defense is questionable, but I feel like Draymond could cover a few of his lapses, and just having Horford come in and then just rotate and draw the centers out of the paint is going to help with the offense during the season as well as the postseason, because having those two experienced guys is going to get the job done. Now, at least we do have some more good news in terms of a player the Warriors can get, and that is that Giannis still isn't set in stone on his future. And to me, at this point, that's pretty surprising. Now, as I've said, we're in the dog days of August right now, and not much is going to happen. I mean, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it's mostly the restricted free agency or maybe a few trades that happen. They're not big trades, they're usually small trades. And with the roster that the Bucks currently have, I thought they have a decent team. You got a solid Kevin Porter Jr. at the one who, if he gets his head right, can really put the ball in the basket as well as dish out a number of assists. Remember, he's one of the guys in the league that has been able to drop 50 points in a single game. And as time goes on, that becomes rarer and rarer and rarer. There's not many guys, I can't remember that many guys outside of like superstars that have put up 50 points in a single game. I mean, like Klay has done it, Draymond has done it. I know Anthony Davis has done it. I'm not sure Luka. I think Luka has done it, but I'm not entirely sure. LeBron has obviously done it. Durant, I believe, has done it, but let's say the younger generation really hasn't done it. Like, we see it, they're good, but they haven't put up that big number of 50. It's like 50 is like not a threshold, but an aspiration number, because we've seen other guys drop 50 in a single game that turned out to be nothing. Guys like, who was it? Sadiq Bey dropped 50 when he was with the Pistons. So that was interesting, and I don't think I've ever seen guys like Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges or even Cat do that. Or I don't think Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum have gotten that high, but I may be wrong on those two. I'm not entirely certain. But, no, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But they do have a good roster. And to go along with Kevin Porter Jr., they also have Kyle Kuzma and Miles Turner to go along with Giannis at the 4. Now, I'm not entirely sure who their starting shooting guard is going to be, but I believe that's a good starting lineup, all things considered, because of the situation. Like, Milwaukee isn't going to have to deal with Boston this year. Indiana is going back in the toilet because of the ACL injury and them losing Miles Turner. So there are two guys right there. Now, we know Orlando is going to step up and maybe become a top 3 seed, but that isn't guaranteed as they are also very young. They brought in Desmond Bane, who was much better than I realized. So they're obviously taking steps in the right direction, but again, it isn't guaranteed. They've flopped in the first round the past 2 years, but at least they're making strides in the right direction. But that remains to be seen. I don't see Giannis leaving, but it still is an opportunity. Now, the good thing about bringing Kaminga back is it gives the Warriors the opportunity to trade for Giannis should things not really go well by mid-season in, say, like January. The Warriors can use that full contract for Giannis and then find some other add-on players to trade to round out the contracts to match for Giannis's. I believe he's making $54 million a year. So you take 25 from Kaminga, the 20 from Moody and Hield, and maybe, I want to say, 6 from Pods, and then just some add-ons in there, and you throw in some draft picks. So it is a pipe dream, but still a possibility, and that's what I like. Now, bottom line is that the Warriors, I feel like they start to know what they're doing. They just have to keep moving forward. And this Kaminga issue is becoming a bit of a ploy. Yes, they're not going to trade him, but they just want teams to up the ante. Now, I know that the Kings do have a lot of future first-round picks available to them. They're only offering protected ones right now, but I do believe they're going to offer an unprotected one down the road. I did notice they have 2 first-round picks in 2027, so giving up one of them as an unprotected pick seems very likely now that the Warriors said they're pulling him completely off the market. They're really letting Kuminga bet on himself or take that 2-year deal and then moving forward from there. But I just want this whole fiasco to be over and the Warriors to start making moves outside of what Jonathan Kuminga and his signing is going to be, because the Warriors, they're championship or bust the next 2 years. And if you're championship or bust, or you're a championship or bust type of team, you need to have all your ducks in order going into training camps. And if they don't have all their ducks in order by training camp, you could pretty much kiss that championship aspiration goodbye. Now, that's all we have today for Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and feel free to comment below on your ideas on how to get the Warriors to sign Kaminga or even trade him away, as I love hearing your thoughts, as it gives me at least a thought process on new ideas of what the Warriors need to do. And as always, go Dubs.